Good morning, beautiful ladies. Welcome, welcome. You're all welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from whatever part of the world you're joining us from. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this event, Beyond Limits, Women Leading Africa's Business Revolution. It's going to be such an amazing and incredible time spent here today. But I would just love for us to allow a few more minutes so that people who are struggling with their network, one thing or the other, can have the opportunity to join us as well as we start the meeting. We wouldn't want anyone to miss out on all that we have in stock for them today. So we'd just love to allow a few more minutes so that people who are trying to join in can join us and we can all kick off the meeting together. In the meantime, my name is, I'm Barrister Emanuela Daniel, and of course, as you may already be able to tell, I'm going to be your moderator for today's session. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be so insightful, so interesting, such an amazing time which will be spent with amazing people. And of course, I would love for us to also use this opportunity to invite as many people as we can. So if you have that friend of yours or that colleague or that mentee, whoever it is, any female that you genuinely care about and you want them to benefit as well. So I would love for you to take this opportunity, just take a minute to invite as many people as you can find. Go to your WhatsApp, your Instagram, wherever it is, just drag them, make sure you're bringing them into this meeting because it's going to be such an insightful one, which they're going to benefit a lot from. So you wouldn't want them to miss out on it. Make sure you grab them and let them know that the meeting is on and we're about to kick off in full. Thank you so much as you do that. And of course, I will see you soon. Let's just allow a few more minutes so that more people can join us and we can kick off the meeting immediately. Thank you. Everyone, once again, you're all welcome. Welcome back to the Beyond Limits event tagged Women Leading Entrepreneurs, Women Leading Entrepreneur Revolution in Africa. Once again, you're all welcome. Thank you so much for joining in. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Barrister Emanuela Daniel, and of course, I'm going to be your moderator for today's session. It's going to be such an insightful and interesting and, of course, an interactive session here today. This is the Beyond Limits event brought to you by 234Finance, of course, in celebration of women and, of course, in the spirit of Women's Day. So happy International Women's Month to you all. Thank you so much for being here today. As you may already tell, I'm super excited. As I mentioned, today is going to be such an interesting session. It's going to be time well spent. So I'm super excited for all that is to come, all the amazing conversations that are going to be held here today. So thank you once again for being here at the Beyond Limits event tagged Women Leading Africa's Business Revolution. Thank you so much for joining in. This is such an amazing time to be alive. And of course, it's such an amazing time to be a woman as well. I mean, we're in a time where women are basically breaking the status quo every single day. And of course, breaking limits and achieving great heights that even themselves, they wouldn't even initially imagine that they'll be able to achieve. So this is a time where women are doing a lot of amazing and inspiring things. So it's such an amazing time to be a woman for real. Thank you once again for being here. So yes, I'd just like to acknowledge the presence of some of the amazing speakers, the panelists that we're going to be having some conversations with today. I could spot Morenike. Morenike was the first speaker to actually get into the meeting. Thank you so much, Morenike, for being here. I can also spot beautiful Tosin. She just turned on her camera. Thank you for being here. We're happy to have you. And of course, I could spot Chidimma. I think she's somewhere here. Yes, I can see her. Thank you so much, Chidimma, for joining as well. Of course, we're going to dive right into proper introductions for our speakers. But before we get there, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's such an amazing time to be a woman. And of course, in the spirit of International Women's Month, I think it's such a great time for us to actually really reflect on what it really means to be a woman, and of course remind ourselves about how strong and how powerful we are as women, and of course our capabilities and all of the things that we're capable of achieving as women. Okay, so the purpose, I would just like to quickly run down through some of the things that we're going to be doing today during this meeting. The purpose of this gathering is basically to bring and to gather strong women together to network, to collaborate, to learn from one another. We're going to be learning together and, of course, growing exponentially through some of the conversations that we're going to be having here today. So lots of conversations are going to be had, lots of interesting insights are going to be shared, and we hope that some of these things which are going to be shared today is going to imbibe in us, and of course we're going to be able to grow exponentially from some of the things that we're going to learn here today. Once again, you're all welcome. And of course, just to run down what we'll be having a panel session where we get to speak with a really, really formidable team of panelists. As I mentioned, some of our panelists are already in the meeting as we speak. So we're going to be having some insightful conversations with them. And of course, it's going to be such an interactive session. So I would really, really encourage you to put away all forms of distractions, put away your phones. You can put your phones on silent, rather, put your phones on silent. And of course, if you have kids, for those of us here who are mothers, I know the kids are important, but I think this moment at this time, mommy needs to actually digest all that is going to be shared here today. So I would love for you to just put them away for a minute, put your phones on silent, put away all forms of distraction, and we need your full attention for all that is going to be shared here today. All right, so I would just like to quickly run through my screen to see some of the people that we have in the meeting already. As I mentioned, you can still invite more people into the meeting as we're kicking off the session. We do not want anybody that we genuinely care about to miss out on all that we have in store for them today. Okay, so I can see so many people in the room already, and I would love to appeal to you. If you're in a convenient space, if it's a convenient time, I would love for you to kindly turn on your camera so that I can also see your face. I'm sure you would agree with me when I say that the conversations will be much more interactive and much better if we can see ourselves. So I would really love to see your beautiful faces. I wouldn't want for you to be hiding those beautiful faces behind the cameras. So please turn on your camera so that we can see your face. And of course, the conversations are going to be much more interesting as we run through the session today. So if it's convenient for you, I would love for you to turn on your camera. Thank you so much, Morenike, for that. And of course, any other person who would like to also turn on their cameras as we have these interesting conversations, it would be really, really great if you can do that. All right, so I'd like to move on right away without any further delays. I'd like to appreciate some of our partners. As you know, this event was put together by 234Finance in partnership with VFD Group. So I'd like to thank VFD Group and of course the entire team for their participation and their contributions. I can see some cameras turned on right now. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Danielle, for turning on your cameras. Thank you. We're happy to have you with us. So yes, I'd like to appreciate VFD Group for their participation and their contributions towards this event and the success of this event. Thank you so much. And of course, the Executive Director, Morenike, is right here. A big thank you to you for all the contributions towards the success of this event. I mean, it is so amazing to see things like this happen whenever it comes to events like this, which is geared towards empowering women, impacting in women. I'm literally always there because it's such an amazing one, and it's something that we need to really encourage to happen much more. So I'd also like to quickly touch a bit on 234Finance. For those of us who do not know about 234Finance and of course some of the amazing work that they have been doing in the entrepreneurial space, 234Finance is, of course, they are the conveners and the organizers of this amazing event, which is created to impact as many women as possible. And 234Finance is a digital ecosystem which promotes African entrepreneurship by fostering a thriving ecosystem through capability building, impactful mentorship, and access to finance. The platform functions in several capacities that see to the progress and growth of African entrepreneurship around the world. At 234Finance, we want all entrepreneurs to see their businesses as a solution to a problem. And if they don't, we think their business strategy to accommodate this mindset, which affords us the opportunity to efficiently supplement their efforts with resources that are geared towards problem solving and growth. We have successfully facilitated a number of mentorship programs that matched young talented persons with established entrepreneurs in their areas of interest, which created the ideal atmosphere to interact with mentors and gain valuable business insights. At 234Finance, our passion is to provide tools for entrepreneurs to make informed business decisions required to transform their business from striving to thriving. Our ultimate desire is to bridge the gaps between entrepreneurs and investors. We are guided by 5 core values, which are content, community, collaboration, capacity building, and capital. I know that I cannot see you, but I would just love for us to just really celebrate 234Finance and some of the work that they have been doing over the years. It's really, really amazing to see some of the things that they have been doing to impact as many entrepreneurs as possible. And of course, as I said, VFD Group, I'd just like to touch on them as well a little bit before we proceed. So VFD Group is creating Africa's first truly diverse business ecosystem. It is an investment management company dedicated to helping clients achieve their short-term and long-term financial goals. With a strong emphasis on efficiency, the company delivers financial solutions for individuals and SMEs, maximizing resources, responding swiftly, and prioritizing clients' needs. By providing flexible and responsive financial services, VFD Group continues to create opportunities for a secure and prosperous future. Let's also celebrate VFD Group, for their contributions as well to this event. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm just trying to get a short update from the admin. Thank you for that, admin. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So before we dive right into the next phase of this amazing meeting, I can see some people dropping some comments in the comment section already. So I'd just love for us to take advantage of this opportunity. I wouldn't want this to be one of those meetings where you attend and then you listen and listen and listen, and then afterwards you just go and then you're not connecting with anybody, you're not getting to know anybody. So although some of our cameras are turned on, which I still encourage us to try as much as possible to turn on our cameras. I've been in lots and lots of meetings virtually, and I know how much more interactive it can be when we can all see ourselves. So I would really love to once more encourage us to try and look for a convenient space so that we can see ourselves as we run through the meeting. And please try as much as possible to turn on your cameras. So as I was saying, I would just love for us to take advantage of the opportunity to get to know ourselves a bit. This is sort of like a get to know ourselves time, and of course connect very, very briefly before we dive right into our panel session and of course the conversations which are going to be held today. So what I want to do real quick is I want to do some very quick affirmations for all of us, and then I also want us to quickly just introduce ourselves. I'm not going to be able to take everyone because there are a lot of people in this meeting. However, I can see a few cameras turned on, and of course whoever is interested in turning on their camera as well. So just do a brief introduction. Of course, I'm going to be starting myself, but we just want to get to know ourselves a bit more so that the session is much more interactive as we proceed. Okay, so just to do a brief affirmation before we continue. Okay, so I just want you to quickly repeat after me, and then of course we'll run through this really swiftly so that we can dive right into the next session. Okay, so you don't need to unmute your cameras, but maybe 1 or 2 persons can unmute their cameras so that they can say it this with me. I can see Favor, I can see Akam. If it's convenient for you, please, I would love for you to unmute your camera so we can just do the affirmations together. But for every other person, I mean, we know that you're speaking, so you can just do it wherever you are. And of course, run along with us. So I want you to just say this after me. I empower myself to live life on my terms.
I empower myself to
live life on my terms. I support and uplift other women on their journeys.
I support and uplift other women on their journey.
My voice is a powerful tool for change, and I use it wisely.
My voice is a powerful tool for change, and I use it wisely.
I am a catalyst for positive transformation in the world.
I am a catalyst for positive transformation in the world.
I am empowered to create the life that I desire.
I'm empowered to create the life that I desire.
I empower myself to pursue my passions and dreams.
I empower myself to pursue my passion and dreams.
I am a strong and influential woman making a difference.
I am a strong and influential woman making a difference.
I empower myself to break barriers and break limitations every single day.
I empower myself to break barriers and break limitations every single day.
Thank you so much for that. Please, let's celebrate ourselves for that. Thank you so much, amazing women, for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies. Okay, there are no gentlemen. I'm sure there are one or two, but mostly ladies. So I would love to just do a quick introduction, maybe one or two persons, and then we can move on to the next segment. So I'd just love to quickly start with Favor. Favor, could you please just unmute your mic and probably tell us your name, what you do, and of course, where you're joining us from.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Adeyemi Ominike Favor. I'm a business consultant and a marketer. I'm streaming from Edo State, Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Favor. We're super happy to have you in our midst. And of course, we look forward to having some amazing conversations which are going to benefit you. And of course, I'll move on to Akam real swiftly so that we can move to the next segment. Akam, please kindly unmute your mic, the same thing as Favor. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I am a barrister. My name is Akam Abiok. I am based in Lagos, Nigeria. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Nice to meet you too, Akam. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. You look absolutely beautiful. All right, ladies. So it's now time for us to dive right into the panel discussions. And of course, I would just like to quickly start with the introductions of our amazing speakers who will be indulging us in some really amazing conversations today. And of course, I'll just like to quickly introduce them. So the first speaker who will be joining us in an incredible panel session is Tosin Olaseinde. She is the CEO of Money Africa. Please let us celebrate her. I mean, I know we can't hear ourselves, but wherever you are, just give a clap for our very beautiful Tosin. Okay, so Tosin Olaseinde is the founder, the CEO of Money Africa, an edtech platform empowering over 200,000 individuals with financial led to the creation of Money Africa and Ladder. Tosin is a strong advocate for financial literacy and women's empowerment in Africa. Through Money Africa Kids, she introduces financial education to children. Ladder serves as a one-stop platform for investment opportunities, addressing the needs of undeserved communities. She is a Washington Mandela Fellow, a Future Awards finalist 2019, and one of Leading Ladies Africa's Top 100 Women. She has also been featured on BBC, CNN, AI, Jazeera, and The Guardian. Described as the new face of money by The Guardian, she continues to drive financial literacy across Africa. helping individuals make smarter financial decisions. One more time, please let us celebrate the amiable Oluwatosin, who is the face, the new face of money, as Guardian describes her. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we'll move on now to the next speaker who will be joining us for this amazing conversation, which will be held today. And of course, it is no other than Morenike Ominike. She is the Executive Director of VFD Group. Morenike Ominike is the Executive Director of VFD Group Plc, leading operational efficiency and strategy across VFD Group's proprietary investment ecosystem of 20+ companies spanning multiple sectors. Her expertise extends across finance, real estate, hospitality, and entertainment, making her a key driver of VFD's global expansion strategy. She sits on the boards of Ancoria Securities Limited, a lending business, and VFD Ghana, where she provides strategic oversight and governance. With over a decade of experience in financial services industry, she has held leadership roles in portfolio management, operations, and compliance. She previously worked with Afrinvest Asset Management Limited, an asset and resource management company, ARM, excelling in fund management, regulatory compliance, and operational strategy. Ladies, please let us celebrate our second panelist for today, no other than the very beautiful Morenike Ominike. Please let's celebrate her wherever we are. Thank you so much, Morenike, for being here. We really appreciate your presence today. All right, moving on to our last but not the least, the final speaker for today. It is no other than Chidimma Uzoma. She's the founder of Zayith Food Company. Chidimma Uzoma is an award-winning entrepreneur and thought leader at the intersection of food manufacturing, business leadership, and innovation. As the founder and CEO of Zayith Food Company, she has scaled her business from a solo startup to a structured company with 45+ employees, securing funding, grants, and pioneering market-driven products. She also co-founded Audra, an AI-powered platform streamlining social commerce. With expertise in entrepreneurship, women in business, and food manufacturing, Chidimma shares insights on scaling operations, funding growth, and leveraging AI for business success. As a mentor, she empowers women entrepreneurs and business owners to thrive while balancing career and personal well-being. Ladies, please let us celebrate our final speaker, no other than Chidimma Uzoma. Thank you so much, Chidimma, for joining us. And of course, without any further delays, I would like to dive right into some of the conversations that we're going to be having here today. And in no particular order, I would like to start with a very beautiful Oluwatosin. Okay, so Oluwatosin, I could see her camera turned on a minute ago. Okay, great. She's here with us. So the first question that I have is directed for you. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a really interactive session. So as we throw the question to you, I just want you to freely answer. And of course, after the entire thing, we're going to open up the floor for the audience to ask their questions. And of course, we prefer answers to some of their questions. So the first question that I have for you, Oluwatosin, is basically in line with bridging the financial literacy gap for women entrepreneurs. And the question states, many women struggle with financial management and investment decisions, which affects business sustainability. So what are the most common financial mistakes you've seen female entrepreneurs make, and how can they build better financial habits for long-term success? Because the question is a bit long, I think I'd like to reiterate again. So many women struggle with financial management and investment decisions, which affects their business sustainability. So Oluwatosin, what are the most common financial mistakes you've seen female entrepreneurs make, and how can they build better financial habits for long-term success? That is the question. The mic is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So in terms of what I would rather reframe it and not necessarily say mistakes, but what we've seen in common for lots of women-owned businesses that we know that if they did otherwise, that could have gotten better results. Number one is access to finance, but access to finance is a double whammy. Sometimes it's not the fault of the woman because only 2% of women get access to funding from VC companies, but just delaying getting that extra fund in order for you to see growth can affect your business. So I'm all pro bootstrapping, which we also did in the initial stages, but after a while, in order for you to get your business to a certain kind of level, if you do not have the resources that is required, you might need to get external help. So we also say that don't start looking for money when you need money. You want to start looking for it in advance, because if you delay it till when it is extremely urgent, you wouldn't get a good deal and you would not negotiate from a place of strength. So start looking for that money before it happens. Then number two, again, this is not uniquely to only women, but we've seen it in general. When we start asking people about why are they running businesses, if they're running businesses because they want to sustain themselves, there's a tendency for you not to see scale in several years. So let's say they want to cover rent, pay children's school fees, amongst others, then the purpose is different. So we want a situation whereas even just in general for Nigeria and even other developing African countries, we want to start seeing businesses that are scaling beyond self-sustenance. So what is the dream? What is the goal? How big do you want to go? How big can you get? Let me give you an example. So when we launched the app for children, in mind, we're targeting African kids. We wanted to teach them about financial literacy. And somebody pointed out to me and said, Tosin, when people create things like Netflix, are they saying that they want to create movies for just Americans? Or when people create products like Duolingo that teaches people about languages, are they saying they want to teach only white people about languages? That what is stopping us from teaching children globally about financial literacy? So there are all those kind of impediments that you start asking yourself, how big do we want to go? So those are the things that we've seen that, you know, in terms of business owners and even women-led businesses, access to funding, start looking for money before you need it. Number two, what is the vision? What is the goal? How big can it get? So those are the two things.
Wow, thank you so much, Oluwatosin. I mean, you literally said it all. And of course, one amazing thing, especially when I was reading through your profile, when I saw about the part about basically teaching children financial literacy, it really, really caught my attention. And I was like, really, like, this is something new. And of course, I think it's such an amazing initiative that you've come up with. And as they say, the world is changing and failure to adapt is failure to exist. So things like this, innovations like this, moving beyond what we're used to, moving beyond the norm is really, really amazing to see some of the things that you are doing. And of course, thank you so much for really dissecting that answer and that question which was asked you. Thank you so much. We'll be moving on right away to the next panelist, and of course, in no particular order as well. The next question I'll be asking is directed to Chidimma Uzoma. Okay, Chidimma, so the question that I'm about to ask you is basically in line with funding and financial management for growth, okay? So the question is, lack of funding is one of the biggest barriers to business acceleration, as you know. So what financial strategies or funding sources have worked for you personally, and what advice would you give to women looking to secure capital and manage finances effectively? I think you got the question. If yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Emanuela. It's been an amazing session so far. So to the question, I think one of the biggest problems to women, like Tosin said, especially women in business, is the fact that we don't have access to funding, right? So but before having access to funding, most times we realize that most women do not understand how to strategically manage their funds for growth. So for us, or for me, one of the things that has really helped is, first of all, understanding strategic financial management. That is one. Two, also learning how to reinvest profits. So most times before you start looking for external funding, before you start looking for outside funding, you need to put your house in order in such a way that whenever you have conversations around funding, you're negotiating from a point of strength and you're not negotiating looking for handouts. So one of those things is making sure that you understand strategic financial management. So when I talk about strategic financial management, I'm talking about what are your negotiations, how do you negotiate your with your suppliers? How do you make your expenses? What do you prioritize? Personally, I always say rule of thumb is always prioritize what brings you money. So before you start prioritizing overhead, so paying rent and all of that, first of all, prioritize making sure you have your product or whatever it is that you sell, and also prioritize marketing. So these are some strategic ways of managing your finances for growth. And then, of course, when you get to the point where you're requesting funding, you're coming from a place of strength as opposed to coming from a place of, oh, you know, it's choking me and I need money to grow. So yeah, I think those are my strategies for managing your finances for growth as a female business owner.
Wow, thank you so much, Chidimma, for that beautiful, beautiful answer. And of course, when I saw the banner for this event and I saw Chidimma Uzoma, I mean, she was looking so beautiful on the banner. And in my head, I'm like, I really cannot wait to hear her speak. And of course, she has spoken now. And I can definitely say that the beauty matches the brain. It's such an amazing, amazing thing to hear from you, Chidimma. And thank you for dissecting the answer as well. All right, so we're going to move on right away to the next person. Of course, she is no other than Morenike Ominike. I don't know, but I'm sure everybody can notice the rhyme in the name, Morenike Ominike. So maybe we can call you Nike Square, if that's okay. So it's such an amazing name, Morenike. Okay, so the question that I have for you is very, very simple. It's in line with driving business acceleration, okay? So in your role as the executive director operations at VFD Group, you definitely oversee efficiency and growth strategies. So now the question is, what key operational decisions or frameworks have you implemented that have accelerated business success, and how can women entrepreneurs apply similar principle? I'll just take the question one more time. What key operational decisions or frameworks have you implemented that have accelerated business success, and how can women entrepreneurs apply similar principles? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Emanuela. It's lovely to be on this program. So I think for me, there are 4 or 5 key items. I think first and foremost is, in an organization, there are strategic visions and goals that have been outlined. It is important that there is clarity. So we develop those organizational visions and ensure that employees align with them, understand what the end goal is and what each individual responsibility is to achieving those goals. So it is important that that is articulated well and also regularly communicated. I think in an organization too, people is very important. The people running the organization, because you can't run an organization without the people. So also ensuring that things are made available to people. There's flexible workplace and all of that. So ensuring that, and also carrying them along to ensure that the organization goal is achieved. For driving, I think strategic partnership is also important. So to enhance our service offering and also to get us out there so that we have a larger reach, is also important that we embark on collaborations and partnerships so that we can also explore new opportunities and also be able to scale the business. And I think finally would be customer-centric approach. For you to be able to gain revenue, the touch points are customers. So have a customer-centric approach to your customers to also ensure that their complaints, their needs are also listened to and also resolved within a reasonable time frame. Thank you.
Thank you, Morenike, for that beautiful, beautiful answer. And of course, ladies, I hope that we're all taking notes and putting down some of these amazing insights which are being dished out by our amazing, amazing speakers. Okay, so we'll move on without any further delays. I mean, Morenike spoke, she spoke really brilliantly, and she touched on a few things that are very, very key touched on the importance of partnerships. She also touched on customer-centric approach and some other things as well. So I hope that we're all putting all of this into our notes, and of course we can easily go back to them after this meeting and sort of invite them and try to cultivate some of the habits that are going to be shared here. So we'll move on right away to Tosin. Tosin, the next question that I have for you is also very, very simple. It's going to touch on funding and investment. So from your experience, how can women position their businesses for funding, attract investors, and leverage financial tools to accelerate growth? Thank you. The mic is yours.
All right, great. So as a woman that is a business owner, I am very much aware of the numbers and the statistics before me. So I want to, first of all, leverage aggressively for unit economics. So basically, unit economics means that, So basically, unit economics means that I am able to deliver my product at the very minimum breaking even. So many people are able to run businesses at the beginning, making losses, and that's because they have funding, right? So they want to test the market, they want to make some losses, and then they cannot change their model afterwards. But you always have to remind yourself that as a woman in business, your funding opportunities might be a bit much limited, and from day one, from the get-go, you are very aggressive about unit economics. That's number one. Number two, you're looking at bootstrapping. So the money in the hands of other customers is a potential funding opportunity. Like, so how am I positioning, how am I marketing aggressively and doing all of that? Now, the next step is how do we then want to get external funding? So financial institutions, right, they can see, like, let's say you've been banking with a particular bank and you've been doing certain kind of numbers, it's easier for you to have a kind of conversation with them that we've been doing X number, we want to see growth. Sometimes they could even reach out to you and say, hey, we've been seeing you doing certain numbers and we want to be able to, extend facilities to you. But don't wait for them to come. You can also beat them to it and go and approach them, try and negotiate for favorable rates. Some of these institutions could actually have some gender rates that are able to give maybe something below what is happening in the market, but you really never can tell. Then the next one is still talking about funding. You also have angel investors. So when we're launching Ladders app, we had a couple of three different women gave us $2,000 each. They said, I love your energy. I love what you do. You're very hardworking. So thing. And they understand the risk that, hey, it's equity funding. These are the risks involved. So you want to also put your business out there in order to position you to attract those kind of investments. And also so we've spoken about debt, we've spoken about angel investing. The last one as well, if you are in certain spaces, so for instance, if you're in the tech space, like we have fintechs, then you start considering access to kind of VC funding. But you must remember, not everyone needs VC funding. I have a friend that is doing fantastic numbers. Revenue is great. And she keeps saying, Tosin, I don't want VC money. I don't want the pressure that comes with VC funding. I want to be able to run my business in a certain way. So we all have different goals. We all have something that we're looking forward to. Also, we also have to be very intentional and asking yourself, is this dream actually mine, right? Or is this the dream that people think I should have? Then that would also guide the kind of funding capacity or abilities that you have. And then the very last but not the least, so we've spoken about angel checks, like people believing in your dreams, giving you checks, spoken about VC money, spoken about debt, and also bootstrapping and your revenue. So to tie it all up together, you have to understand your numbers, because even when you're accessing those funds, they're going to be asking you questions. My gross profit margin, my net profit margin, how long can the business stay alive without me getting any extra funding, liquidity, amongst others. So you have to befriend it. You have to make those numbers your friend. And once you also start understanding the numbers, you also start paying attention to, because you have limited resources, you're not Dangote. What part of the business do I need to shut down in order to focus my energy on what is actually working? So you are in a relationship. You're literally paying a close attention to those numbers and actually to see how to make it work. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, you said something really profound about understanding your numbers, and I could not agree more with you on that. It's so important, and so some of the things that you shared just now, although very short, but very, very profound. Thank you so much. And of course, if you're just joining us, this is the Beyond Limits event. Women basically leading Africa's business revolution. And of course, it's been put together by 234Finance in partnership with VFD Group. Some really, really insightful and interesting conversations are being held at this moment. So if you're just joining us, you're welcome. And of course, there will be a time where we'll get to ask our questions and of course have answers to the questions being answered as well, being given as well. But before we get to that, I'd like to move on now to the next panelist, in the person of Chidimma. And Chidimma, okay, yes, you're here. So Chidimma, the question that I have for you now is, it's basically going to be touching a bit on leveraging innovation and customer trends. Leveraging innovation and customer trends. So the question is, how can women entrepreneurs leverage market trends, technology, and product innovation to stay ahead and accelerate business growth?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manuela. I particularly love this question because it speaks to something that I always advocate for women. So most times we realize, you know, in the market that most times women, I think maybe because of all the years of all the talk around, you know, women are supposed to be in a particular space. They are not supposed to be in this space. They're not supposed to be in that space. Women have sort of taken a backseat to continuous learning. So most times you see that, and also you can tie that to what society puts on women. So a typical woman has a family, she has a lot on her plate, and you find that most times continuous learning takes the back seat. So, but as a business owner, you cannot allow continuous learning take a back seat if you have to grow or if you have to innovate. So you have to continuously and very deliberately and intentionally make sure that you are continuously learning. You're continuously putting yourself out there and leveraging new trends. So, and of course, as a business owner, you know that trends come up maybe because you know, the way your consumer interacts with your product is changing, consumer behavior is changing, all of that. Competition is getting more difficult, whether you're a man or a woman. As far as you're in business space, competition is getting more difficult. So you have to intentionally learn. You have to intentionally put yourself out there and learn these things. So for instance, at Zayith, we recently started introducing AI into our systems. I mean, we're a food manufacturing company and we do yogurts, but how are we able to leverage what is out there? How are we able to leverage new tech to ensure that we continue to stay ahead of the curve? And we recently introduced AI into our customer care and into our order process, right? And this is something that has dramatically changed a lot of things. Right now, if you send a message to us on any of the social media platforms, you won't have a real person answering to you. You have an AI agent answering and taking your orders, which is fantastic. But then as a woman, if you're not able to put your head down and learn these things, you find that in 2, 3, 5 years, you're not, it's almost like everyone has left and you're just doing the same things that you were doing some years ago. So I would say that it is important that you're continuously learning and you're reading books, you're going for conferences, you're interacting with other people, and you don't allow yourself take a back seat with a lot of these things. Put yourself forward, ask questions, study articles, try new things, and continuously innovate and evolve as a business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chidimma. I mean, you've touched literally on every single thing, and I'm super, super happy about some of the things that you shared. And of course, the fact that you are inculcating AI and tech and some of the things that you're doing, even as a food production company, is such an amazing, amazing thing to see. And of course, to see today that the world is changing, as I mentioned earlier. There's tech now. There are a lot of things, a lot of new innovations which you can actually inculcate and imbibe in your business and whatever it is that you're doing to basically develop yourself. You need to be able to be open to evolving, learning new things, inculcating new habits, inculcating new patterns that can help your business, that can basically skyrocket your growth. So thank you so much, Chidimma, once again. But we're not going to let you go so quickly. I mean, we've had like some really, really insightful conversations, and all of the questions that I've been asking you, you've been giving us some amazing answers. But I really just want to dig a bit deeper This question is not on my book. So this question is basically from my head. I just want you, as a woman, you know, most of the people here, 95% of the people here in attendance are women. This is an event that has been organized to impact women. So as a woman to woman, I just want you to share with us, as an entrepreneur, in your entrepreneurial journey, I mean, as the founder of Zayith Foods, I just want you to tell us, one, have you ever cried? And if yes, what made you cry? And also, how were you able to wipe those tears? Chidimma, I can see you smiling. I'm sure you have a lot.
Okay. Okay, Emmanuel, that's a deep question, but I'll try and give a summary answer. So yes, as a business owner, I think it's inevitable that you will have it all smooth. I've been aggressively doing business for the last 7 years, right? And when I say aggressively, it's been back to back, day to day. And in the middle of these 7 years, I've had 2 kids. I've had to run a full family. So yes, there are days when it is really hard. I was speaking to some people some time ago, and I said, even on the days when I had both of my kids, I took meetings on both of those days. And it doesn't slow down at any point. So yes, I have cried a lot of times. But one thing that always comes back to me as a business person is no one really cares about your emotions, unfortunately. And as a business person, I'm always able to separate my emotions and think logically. So when I get overwhelmed with situations, or when something just, is not going the right way, I'm able to take a step back, gather my emotions. I'm very in touch with my emotions. I know when I'm acting a certain way because of a certain thing. So I'm able to gather my emotions. And most times I would can it, right? And address the situation logically. So, and of course, I always would put the business goals in front of whatever I'm doing. And also, this is something that is important to communicate. So as a woman, you need to have your visions very clear. So your vision becomes the torch and the guiding light to whatever it is that you're doing. So if your visions are not clear, most times you will just, you'll be anywhere and everywhere. Anything can just can toss you left and right. But if you have a clear vision, you are able to take a step back and think in light of those vision, in light of that vision. And you would also be able to address things logically and most times not emotionally. So yeah, crying is okay. It's good to express and let yourself feel all the feelings, because trust me, it is really hard. I can't even emphasize how hard running a business in Nigeria is. It is really hard. But aside that, and regardless of how hard it is, you should be able to compartmentalize and put it aside and think logically in light of the visions that you've set for yourself and your business. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Chidimma. I mean, you've said a lot. And of course, what I can hear from you is the business world, the journey of entrepreneurship, it does not come with challenges. It's not one that is without problems or without challenges or without hurdles. However, when these challenges come, you need to be able to really focus on the vision and focus on your end goals to be able to overcome some of these challenges. Thank you so much, Chidimma, for sharing with us. Okay, so we'll move right away to Morenike. Morenike, the question that I have for you now is in line with innovation and digital transformation. So the question is, how can women-led businesses leverage technology to accelerate growth and remain competitive in a fast-changing economy? So how can women-led businesses leverage technology to accelerate growth and remain competitive in a fast-changing economy? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Emanuela. It's not very far from what Chidimma had mentioned. The ability to deploy digital applications that will also help improve operational efficiency. So for specific operations, identify cost-efficient applications that will help improve operational efficiency. And secondly, keep abreast with the changing technologies. Because of the pace at which technology continues to evolve, it is important that you keep abreast of changing technologies. So at the end of the day, you do not get left behind. I think Chidimma has enumerated how that has positively affected her business. And I think it is something that we should continue to do because of the evolution in technology. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Morenike, for that answer. Of course, you hit the nail right on the head. Okay, so before we let you go, Morenike, just as Chidimma, as I spoke with Chidimma, I will not ask you the same question because I'm not sure you've cried, VFD. However, I just want you to basically share a word of encouragement to the women here today. I mean, there are a lot of people here who are inspired by some of the things that you've been able to achieve as a woman. So just as I said, woman to woman, just share some words of encouragement on basically how to navigate in the corporate world and the field that you are in currently. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Emanuela. I'm certain many of us have cried on the job because sometimes you get to that point where you break down. So barring all that, I think it's important for women in the corporate world. It's always difficult. You have to do almost twice as much work as a typical man would do. It's just to put yourself in this space. Also understand what the expectation is for you. It's not just putting yourself there without understanding what the end goal is. Understand what the end goal is. Strategize on how you're going to achieve that end goal. Make yourself present in the room, because when you're in the room and you're not present and you are not noticed, and it is in the noticing that you're able to make an impact, right? So for me, I would say continue to do what you do and continue to learn, because things evolve very quickly. So as you learn, continue to communicate and put yourself in a space where you will be acknowledged and noticed. Those are my encouraging words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Morenike. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies, we're going to be moving on very, very swiftly. I mean, the conversations have been so insightful. And of course, my notes are almost filled up already. Thank you so much, Morenike, Chidimma, and Tosin, for really giving out all these insightful contributions, which are going to definitely help us. I don't know about everybody else here, but me, myself, I've learned so much already, and it's been so insightful and profound. So thank you so much. I'll move on right again to Tosin. Tosin, the question that I want to ask you now is going to be in line with, 1 second. So the question that I want to ask you is going to be in line with money mindset and confidence. So the question is, how can women shift their money mindset, build confidence in financial decision-making, and take bold steps towards business and personal financial growth? So how can women shift their money mindset, build confidence, and take bold steps towards business and personal financial growth? Thank you.
You're welcome. So in terms of money mindset, I think the first thing first is we have to be able to address the underlying misconceptions or the myth or all the other things that we believe that might not be true. And it's very, very important to actually address this. Based on research, by the age of 7, your mindset about money has been formed, right? So because your mindset about money has been formed at such an early age, if you did not come from a wealthy family or from a family that were very intentional about imbibing certain financial mindset, then you have to start addressing it. Also, for a lot of parents that grew up in want, not because they did it from a point of hate or anything, like saying things like we cannot afford this or just shutting the mind off and all of that. Again, it's a very interesting conversation. And whenever people keep talking about money, we're always talking about the numbers, about the growth, and nobody talks enough about the behavior. And the behavior is actually from where it starts, right? How do people think about this? How do people feel about this? I had a friend about 8 years ago. I remember then she was trying to get funding for her business. I saw how resilient, how resolute, how even she had not seen it then, but she was so certain, and she was so certain that it was going to happen. And we need that kind of unwavering kind of belief. And it doesn't happen overnight. You have to build it gradually. So you start testing yourself with small things, start acknowledging the little things that you've done in the past, right? Start looking for practical ways, things like even saving for 3 months to see yourself that you're actually capable of doing this. And once you've grown in that little thing, then you can want to extend it more and extend it more. Also, intentionally create a circle of people that can also reinforce this thought system. I love to call it a mastermind, and I strongly feel that everybody should have a mastermind group, right? That group that you're talking about things, you're looking at your finances, you're intentionally, I'm not talking about a group of friends, no, it's a mastermind. We're there for a particular purpose. Usually they also end up being friends, but the purpose of that group is for masterminding. So you have to be intentional of reinforcing the thought, you're reinforcing the belief. Also, you also want to get mental role models. Who are the people that have done what you're trying to achieve, right? Backtrack their CV. What did they do 10 years ago? What did they do 20 years ago? Are there things that we can actually see? They would call it reverse engineering. Are there things that they did decades ago that we can actually pick up now, that we can actually do? So, and then the last but not the least is then you have all this knowledge. You also then want to start reading. I love this book called The Psychology of Money so much. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And just basically assessing and encouraging and just giving us data about these things. Did you know that 60% of the people that win the lottery fall back into poverty? And every time we give this data, people are like, oh, yes, they won the lottery. You know, they were very stupid. But we all have one kind of lottery. So I always ask people, if they think about all the money that they've earned since the time they were in NYS or in university doing all those small side hustle, how much do you have up to 10% of all the money that has ever passed through your hands till today, saved or invested somewhere? And they usually say no. So that is your own lottery, right? So it's no more now you against them, it's you against the wall. It's you like being intentional. How am I going to fix this? I want to be accountable. We want to put in structure into place. We're revising and all of that. But yes, I can go on and on about this, but the power lies with you and it is actually possible. Yes.
Wow, thank you, Tosin. I can see that if we give you the mic, I mean, you have so much knowledge to dish out and to share, and you just keep going on and on. But thank you so much for all that you've shared. I mean, thank you for basically reshaping and redirecting our focus on what truly is important in terms of financial management and financial literacy. You've said so many things. I mean, I put so many things down in terms of having a group which actually helps you to be able to cultivate these important habits of saving, having a role model which can help you. And of course, you've talked about a book. So I'd just love to give you the floor one more time. I mean, I think it's also important that you share it again. What book do you recommend so that women here can take up the opportunity and get to learn as well, just as you learned yourself?
It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's a fantastic book, real life stories, things we can connect to that are, you know, people that look like you, just really great stories. And it's a must read. I highly recommend it.
Wow. Thank you so much. I've put it down. And of course, I hope everybody here has been able to get that as well. We will definitely visit the book and get to read it. Thank you so much once again, Tosin. All right, so we're going to move on right away to the next person. And of course, we're wrapping up the panel session, and we're going to give people the opportunity to ask their questions very, very shortly. So if you know that you have a question, I mean, as the conversations are going on, a lot of things have been said. So I'm sure that you're learning and you're putting things down. So if you have any questions through the course of our conversations which are being held, I would love for you to just put them down somewhere, maybe on your note, on your notebook or your phone or whatever writing material you're currently using. Just put them down somewhere and we will get to that. We will definitely give you the opportunity to ask your questions. And of course, our panelists will give you answers to your questions. Okay, we're going to move on right away to Chidimma. Chidimma, I think this might be the final question that I have for you. So I just want you to really take your time to answer this one so that we gain as much from you as we can before letting you go today. So the question that I have, the final question, is on networking and community support for business acceleration. And the question is, how important has mentorship, partnerships, and community support been in your entrepreneurial journey? And how can women tap into strategic networks for faster growth? So mentorship, partnerships, and community support, how important, how beneficial have they been in your entrepreneurial journey? And how can the women in this room tap into strategic networks to ensure faster growth in their businesses as well. Thank you. The mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Emanuela. Thanks again. So, as a business owner, I want to say, I mean, if you don't take anything out of this meeting, take the fact that it is important, extremely important, that you have a strong network, you have mentors, and you have a community that drives you. Because like I always say, as a business owner, you're the resource. You're the most important resource to your business, not the capital, not the funding, not even the products, not anything. You're the most important resource to your business. And you have to make sure that you are continuously in a space that feeds your mind, that feeds your energy, and helps you to continuously create and reproduce, the magic that you know how to do. Which is why I like what Tosin said about having a mastermind group. It is important for every business owner. In fact, if you're starting out a business today, that's maybe one of the first things I will tell you. Find a group, it may not be a group, it could be one person or whatever, however you want to structure it, that ensures that you are continuously in a mental state that helps you bring out the magic that, you're supposed to. Most times, as business owners, we don't understand the value of what we carry. We don't even understand how far we can go because we haven't been put in a place that brings out all of that within us. So it's important that you have mentors, and whenever you're picking out your mentor, you need to be careful about the people you give the opportunity to mentor you. So most times people just see someone and you like the person, you probably like with the way the person dresses and all of that, and you're all okay, I want this person to be my mentor. No, mentorship is a lot more strategic, and it's a lot more intentional. So, and it's also possible that you have mentors for different things. So you could have mentors for your business, you could have mentors for funding, different things. You don't necessarily have to have one mentor for everything. And it's also important that you continuously put yourself in networks that helps you grow and also introduces you to places that ordinarily you wouldn't have been able to get into. So and something I also encourage for female business owners is also, please get used to paying for access. So most times you see small business, and that's maybe why I don't even like the term small business owners, right? Because I feel like that term sort of puts like a mental cap on you to always just think small, right? Where people just feel like, oh, I'm a small business owner, I don't have money for this. You're always putting yourself in a position where you feel like you don't have resources to do these things. But that's the difference between someone who is a small business owner and would remain a small business owner and someone who is going to grow at an exponential rate, right? The fact that you understand that these things are costs, and it is okay to pay for things. It is, I think currently I'm on a networking group that we pay hundreds of thousands a year to be on that group. Tosin is on that group as well, right? But it is important that you're in spaces like that to help you think differently. You hear different perspectives, and you find that you're able to grow a lot more quicker because you have placed yourself in an environment that can be a quick catalyst for that growth. So please, like I said, if you don't take anything out of this meeting today, take the fact that as a business owner, to grow a successful business, a great product is not just enough. All the numbers and all of that you're doing is not just enough. You have to also invest in yourself as a person, invest in your mind, invest in your network. And you do this by getting amazing mentors, find people, and you can also get mentored from afar. Because most times I find that people would send emails to people that they admire and want them to be mentors and say, oh, I want you to be a mentor. But mentorship is very intense, right? Real mentorship is very intense. So sometimes the people that you want them to mentor you may not have the bandwidth for that, right? I mean, if anyone takes you on as a mentor, that person has done you a world of good. But even if you're not able to get that, it is okay to take your mentorship from afar. So consume their content. Most people are generous enough to put most of their knowledge in a book, please read those books. Consume their content when they put it out on LinkedIn, attend their conferences, and all of that. The most important thing is that you're continuously putting your mind through a learning process where you're gathering and absorbing as much information as you can. Also, like Tosin said, where she said, when you find someone who has gone ahead of you, it's almost like you're reverse engineering and you're finding what they did 10 years ago, what that path was like for them. So, with that, then you're able to create a path for yourself, have a clearer vision, and you're able to grow faster than you normally would. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chidimma. And of course, speaking of mentorship, I'm sure that you've set yourself up at this moment because a lot of people here will want you to mentor them at this point. So be ready to leave here with like 10 to 15 mentees. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, she said a lot of things that are really profound and of course, really, really helpful. She spoke about the importance of really having a good and a strong network, and of course networking, and of course she spoke about mentorship and the importance of having a good mentor that can really hold your hand and walk with you through this journey. I know that a lot of people think that they can do it themselves. Oh, I don't really need somebody to direct me or to help me through it and all of that. But in truth, I myself, I am a testament to the power of having a mentor and what mentorship can actually do for you as a person, for you as a woman, and for your business as well. So you need to really take that seriously, and you need to really open up your mind to the possibility of having a very good mentor that can basically walk you through the journey. Like she said, somebody who has gone ahead of you, who has a lot of wealth of experience, who has so much to give you and all of that, and it's going to be really, really beneficial for you. I'm sure you'll come back and thank Chidimma for that very, very insightful suggestion and contribution we shall just given to you. And of course, open up your mind, be more open to be able to pay for access, get into the right rooms where you're able to network, you're able to grow exponentially, and you're able to get to heights that you didn't even think you could attain yourself initially. But this access or these rooms can actually get you to those heights. Thank you once again, Chidimma. It's been so impactful. Okay. So we'll move on very quickly to our last question for the day. I think the last question is directed at Morenike, but at this moment, I cannot see Morenike's mic turned on. So I think maybe... Okay, so I cannot see Morenike's mic turned on, so I'll just hold on to the question for a bit till I'm able to spot her, and of course we can direct the question at her real quick. But as we basically digest and take in all of the knowledge that has been shared, I just want us to maybe just play a little bit of music so that we can put our questions together, because we are about to go into the next segment of this meeting, which of course is the question and answer session. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a very, very interactive session. So of course, if your camera is turned on, I'm not sure I will be able to take your question. So please, if it's convenient for you, I would love for you to be able to turn on your camera as you ask your question. As I said, it's always more interactive when we can see you. And of course, do not hide your beautiful face behind the camera. So if you have a question, just put it down. And if you're not able to ask the question as well, that's perfectly fine. You can put it in the chat box, and I will read out your questions so that our panelists, our speakers can address the questions as well. So I'd just love for us to take a quick break, 1 or 2 minutes of music as we put down our questions and put everything in order so that we can dive right into the next segment, which is the question and answer session. It's been such an amazing time, honestly. I've learned so much, and I hope that I have learned a lot as well. We'll be asking the questions shortly, so of course I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Ladies, that was a really, really short break. I just wanted us to just take a moment to be able to put the questions down as we move to the next segment. So I can still spot some of our speakers. I can see Chidimma, I can see Tosin, and yet to see Morenike. But I think we can proceed with the next segment, and of course she will join us as soon as she can. I'm sure she's struggling with her network or maybe receiving a call at the moment. So as we continue, she will join us. So I just want you to put down your questions, and of course also indicate who you're directing your question to. Know that we have 3 amazing and beautiful speakers. So I want to know who exactly you are directing the question to so that they can answer your question adequately. Okay, so ladies, if you have any questions, I would love for you to use the reaction button underneath your screen. It's just underneath. Click on the hand raise option, and we will call you so that you can ask your questions right about now. So I can see Chioma, I can see Favor. I think they have questions, and of course, please continue to use the reaction button and raise your hand if there's any other person who has a question. And of course, if you cannot speak with your camera turned on, send the questions to the chat room, and I'm going to read the questions out to our amazing speaker so that you can get answers as well. So I would just like to start really quickly with Favor Adeyemi. And whilst we start with Favor, Chioma, if it's convenient for you, I would love for you to please turn on your camera as you ask your question. We'll be getting to you shortly. Favor, please go ahead with your question. You have 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning. Thank you for this session. I really learned quite a lot. So I'll just proceed to the questions because I have 2 questions. So the first question which goes to Ms. Oluwatosi. I don't know if she's still here. You made mention about investments, investing in your business. You made mention about 10%, something like that. But that was what I took from it. Then also the psychology of money. Can you suggest, or can you list out some investments we can make as female entrepreneurs? Like investment we can actually make out?
All right, thank you. That's a very good question. So when you're talking about investment, I like to look at it from 3 different angles. You have the low risk investment. So you're talking about treasury bills, mutual funds, commercial papers. Then you have the medium risk assets. So here we're talking about stocks. I strongly feel every young person should be invested in stocks. You have the global stocks, and then you also have the local stocks. So you also want to diversify that portfolio. I highly recommend global stocks because you're going to be invested in Forex, and then you're fighting against inflation and Naira devaluation. That's the medium risk asset. Then you have the high risk asset. Under high risk asset, we have things like cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is a very tricky case in the sense that I'm not against it, right? But at the same time, I want you to manage your exposure. So we usually tell our clients to not exceed anything more than 5 to 10% of your entire portfolio, just in case the market crashes, right? So that your pot is still protected. So you are able to diversify across these 3 platforms. What we've also noticed is that people either take too much risk or they take too little risk. So you want to be right there in the middle, managing your risk. So these are the things you can invest in. Also, from a business owner to another potential business owner, I would say that in the early stages of your business, try and see how you can focus on creating proper revenue channel lines because you have limited income. Once you've gotten that on lockdown, then you also want to start investing in your personal, assets and things like that. But each to his own. But that was what I did, and I like the method. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me just proceed now to the second question, which goes to Ms. Chidimma. Okay, yes. Ms. Chidimma, you made mention about having mentors and stuff like that. And I do notice that you have a yogurt business. So I don't know if I'm coming too direct. I have baking. I'm a baker too. So I bake cakes and also do some chops and some snacks. I don't know if it's being forward, but do you also accept people as mentorship?
Okay, thank you, Favor. So yes, I do. I'm not sure if your question is directed because of what you do. Are you asking if I can take on someone who doesn't do what I do?
No, it's coming from the business angle now, as you are also into yogurt, you're into the yogurt business. I'm also coming from the angle of I'm a baker. So I'm asking if you also accept people in the terms of mentorship as the area of business wise, yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay, yes, I do. However, I might not at the moment be able to take on, a full mentee. So usually I would put out resources on my LinkedIn or put out resources on my social media pages. But you know what, maybe after now you can send an email or send me a message. I can share my number with the organizers and they'll share that with you. So, and we can talk about it. Let's see, we can work something out. Let's see what's possible.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Favor, for your questions. And of course, thank you so much, Chidimma, as well. Favor, I think you can drop your details in the chat room. And of course, the admin will pick up your details from there and of course, put you in contact with Chidimma in order to discuss further. And of course, thank you once again, Chidimma. We'll move on to the next person, Chioma Ifeanyi. She mentioned that she cannot turn on her camera at this moment because it's not very convenient. So it's fine. Chioma, please kindly unmute your mic. You can go ahead with your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, ladies, so much. This has been an amazing panel and just hearing all your experiences. So I have 3 questions. I think I'm going to put the first 2 together. And the questions are open to all the ladies, but I want to reference something that you had mentioned, Chidimma, about AI agents and using AI in your business. So if you're able to share the specific AI, I'm assuming if it's Instagram, maybe ManyChat or something. So the specific AI and tools that you use to automate your business, so systems that you use to automate your business, other things that you use to help like with operational efficiency, that would be a big help. And then the second thing, which is connected to that one, is around your team, right? I know, especially in this part of the world, when you're building a team and you want them to be high performers, like how do you get them to do the work in a similar way that you would, right? When you're serving your clients and different things. So this is open for everybody, but I'd love to hear specific examples. And then I have one more question after this. Thank you.
Okay, so let me go first. Now with regards to AI and putting AI as part of our business, the particular platform that we use is called Audra. Audra hasn't launched yet. It's a business that I'm starting with someone, but it hasn't launched yet, although we're using it. But I think what can happen is I can get your contact from the admin, and we're supposed to launch sometime next month. So once that happens, we're also reaching out to a lot of business people. So we can just put you in that communication and you would know when it launches. But I can tell you for free that it is one of the best things that we have done, because not only have we dropped overhead costs, we have made our social commerce part a lot more effective. And it's something I would highly recommend for any business owner, regardless of the sector that you play in. Now that's for Audra. I think the second question was, how do you get your team to do things in a particular way and do things the way you would want to? I think for me, it starts from the hiring process. I remember we had an issue with this maybe some years ago, and we tweaked something in our hiring process that sort of just fixed more than 50% of that problem. And the first thing is, who are you hiring? Who are you bringing on to your business? Do they align with your values? Do they align with what you're trying to say? So the first step usually would be you have to have a sit down with yourself and determine what is important to you. What sort of team do I want to build? You have to detail out every tiny detail. So personally, my own recommendation would always be, make sure that you have done whatever job that you're trying to get someone to do for you. Make sure you have done it so that you understand it in a more intricate way, and that way you know what to hire for. So for instance, if I'm trying to look for a head of marketing, right, I have filled that position for maybe a couple of months, and I understand what I don't want, who would be the best person to fill this role, and what I would like the person to do. So that way, when you're going to the market to hire, you're going with a very clear vision of what you want, and you automatically know who fits and who doesn't fit. Trust me, when you get in the right person who fits, it solves more than 50% of your problems with getting your team to align. Now, when the team comes in, or when whoever you hire comes in, it's now a continuous step of getting your people to align with the brand's vision, the brand's goals, and all of that, right? And you do this through several means. One of the ways that I use is to ensure that we are continuously aligned through meetings, through communications, because I find most times that as a founder and a business owner, when you when you have most of these things in your head, but you're not able to communicate it to your team, it's useless. There's sort of like a divide, right, with what you're trying to achieve and what your team is doing. So you have to continuously, painstakingly have meetings and continuously teach these things. So don't assume that they should know. And personally, I would always say, I don't want you to come in with whatever it is that you have learned. The experience is fine, but in terms of value, cultures, and all of that, when you come in, you have to align with our culture, you have to align with our values, you have to align with our goals. And these are things that you cannot delegate to someone else. You as the founder, you as the business owner, you have to continuously teach. Have continuous one-on-ones with your team members, have management meetings, have group meetings, whatever you want to call it, but make sure that you are continuously teaching them how to align to your company. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That was very powerful. My second question is around, and this is for everyone, around accelerators and incubators that have helped you with your businesses. So have you participated in any programs, any grants, any things that have helped with your business and with growing your business?
Okay, let me take that. So what I've seen is it's a numbers game, and you have to be very intentional about the number of applications you're putting out. So we got into MasterCard EdTech Accelerator. This was in 2023. They gave us $100,000 grant. We got into Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority program. It was also $100,000, but we only took the grant portion, which was $25,000. So why am I sharing this? I'm not sharing it to say, oh, we won all of this, but just showing the numbers. In that same year that we got those two opportunities, we had applied to a total of 108. So in the media, it looked like we were winning things back to back, but it was less than 3% of the shots we had taken. So number one, you want to put your house in order so that when you're applying for this grant, they can see the work. When we started touring Nigerian institutions, God says my heart, we did not do it because we're looking for grants. Genuinely, our purpose, our vision, we want to be at the forefront of financial literacy. When you're thinking financial literacy, I want you to think Money Africa, and that was it, right? So we're everywhere. We're going to churches, we're going to universities. People are seeing that work. So based on that, they start referring you, they start putting in good word for you. So we started applying for all these opportunities, and we're showing workings that look at it. We've been to 20 universities in the country. We've done this, we've done that, you're showing impact. There are two different kinds of investors or accelerators or kind of grants. There's some of them that are looking at capitalism, like show me the profit, show me the numbers. The other people saying, we love profit, we love numbers. However, we're bigger on impact. So they're able to allow for lower metrics when it comes to profitability, but they are very big on those impacts, right? So I strongly feel like a lot of businesses has an impact element, right? Some more obvious than the others. But if you do have impact elements in your business, let it shine. Put it at the forefront of the conversation and let people see that this is the work that we're doing. So in summary, number one, play a numbers game. Number two, put in the work so you have something to show workings. And number three, you have to evaluate if it's an impact accelerator or if it's a growth, accelerator. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. That was really, really helpful. I appreciate you both.
Thank you, Tosin, and of course, Chidimma, for those very, very really expansive answers which you gave. I'm sure that Chidimma has gotten enough clarity on the questions which she asked as well. And of course, I have a question which was dropped in the chat box. I'm just going to quickly read it out. And I don't think it's directed at anybody in particular. So any of you who's available can just dive into it and go for the answer. So the question is, there are some of us that fear keeps holding us down to show our full potential. We've tried so many different approaches to overcome that fear, but it doesn't seem to come forth. How do you think one can overcome the fear or just work regardless of the level of fear? Thank you. The question is from Amida Ola. Thank you for that question. And of course, any of the speakers who is available to answer can just go right for it. Thank you.
Okay, let me answer that. So, Amida, I'll say this, and I'm picking to answer this because this is also a part of things that I've experienced, right? So as a business owner and as a lady, a female business owner, fear it's a part of the mix. It's a part of the process. You honestly cannot take that out. And something I always like to say to people around me is, when you have an opportunity, or when you see something that, when you get an opportunity, say yes, panic later, right? So, and this is something that has driven a lot of things that I've done. We get an opportunity. My first thing is fear. Oh my God, can we do this? Can we handle this? How is it going to turn out? Blah, 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 blah. The first thing I do is reply the email, say yes, thank you for this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then I can go back and panic later. So this is to say that fear is a part of the process. I don't want to say consistent part of the process, because over time, the more you do, the more you build muscle, the more you build capacity, and the less you get afraid. So regardless of how fearful you think you are, you owe it to yourself to continuously show up in spite of that fear. I'm not going to tell you that there will be a point where you're not going to feel afraid anymore. But whether you feel afraid or not, no matter how your hands are trembling, your voice is shaking, your legs cannot carry you, show up in spite of it. And you see that as you make little progress, as you continuously do these things, you outgrow that fear. So you find out that you're able to speak a lot more clearly. Your voice doesn't shake anymore. Your hands don't shake anymore. You're a lot more confident, right? But you have to subject yourself to that and tell yourself that regardless of how I feel, regardless of how scared I feel, I am going to show up and do this thing regardless of that, because that's the only way you can grow. And the more you keep doing it, the better you get at it. And, before you know it, in say maybe a year or two, you find out that you're not scared of the things that you used to be scared of, some time back. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Chidimma. I can see a thank you from Amida as well. I'm sure that you've been able to dissect her question very, very well. And of course, I wouldn't agree more with Chidimma on that. Like, talking about fear, talking about doing it even whilst being afraid. It's really, even whilst you're afraid, you still need to be able to show up and keep pushing, keep doing it until one day you just wake up and then you realize that all of that fear that you started with has vanished totally, and you're able to do it with confidence every single day. So once more, thank you, Chidimma. And of course, Tosin, thank you so much. And Morenike, a big thank you to you as well. I'm sure that everybody here has totally enjoyed all our amazing speakers, all our beautiful speakers, and of course, the wealth of knowledge which they have shared with us here today. So just to show some form of appreciation, I would love for us to just use the reaction button underneath our screen and then put up some loves, just to say we appreciate you, we thank you, and then of course, all the knowledge that you've shared, we're really, really happy for it. And of course, we're going to put into practice all of these things. Just show them so much love. I want to see so many love on my screen, so much love on my screen rather. And of course, just to say a big thank you. This is a sign of thank you to Chidimma, Tosin, and of course Morenike for their time today. I mean, they've come out, they've created time out of their busy schedules to come and share from their wealth of knowledge to basically impact us. So we're really grateful on behalf of the entire attendees here today. I want to say a big thank you to you, three of you, Tosin, Chidimma, and Morenike, for your wealth of wisdom which you have dished out to us here today. Thank you so, so much. A lot has been said, a lot has been learned, and of course, we are definitely not going to sweep any of the things that we've heard here under the carpet. We're going to put all of it into practice. We're going to try as much as possible to practice and imbibe all that has been taught here today. Thank you so, so much. All right, ladies, we're going to be moving on to our partner spotlight, which is VFD Group. And of course, this session is going to be taken by Victor Oporo. He is the head of operations on VFD's offerings and initiatives for women. I know that all of us here may be surprised, like, oh, why is it a man speaking and all of that? And this is a unique man. This is a man who supports women, and that's why he is here today to share with us some of these insightful things, which is going to share right away. So ladies, please, with a resounding virtual clap. I know that I cannot hear you, but I just want you, wherever you are, just give him a clap as we welcome Mr. Victor Oporo to take the floor. The mic is yours, Mr. Victor. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Emanuela. Thank you so much. I was listening in, and I think I heard a lot of inspiring stories and a lot of very sound and relevant advice. And I think you just took the words out of my mouth. What is a guy looking for here? And for me, personally, I've heard this phrase, repeated through one form or the other, and it's basically around how when you support. I was thinking about that, and I thought, hey, it's something that benefits everyone, right? So, for me personally, and for VFD Group, it's something that we are very strong on. We pride ourselves on being an innovative.
Okay, so I don't know if it's just me, because he's the only camera that I can see turned on.
We pride ourselves on being disruptive. We are.
Okay, so I think Mr. Victor's network might be having a bit of glitch. Mr. Victor, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay, so your network is breaking a little bit, just a little bit. So yeah, you can proceed. We can hear you now perfectly.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I was just saying how for VFD Group, we pride ourselves on being innovative and disruptive and all of that. And I think any organization that's serious about these things, you can't really be having a conversation without a place for women. And at VFD Group, we're very big on inclusivity and the like. For instance, we have a portfolio of companies where we have female leaders in sectors where typically are male dominated. We have a female CEO in one of our tech firms. We have a female CEO in our real estate firm. We have female CEO, COOs, directors in some of our finance firms. So it's something that we don't just say, but we practice, right? So I'm here to just tell you about some of our offerings that women can take advantage of. All right, so through our portfolio of companies, we have advisory services. We're able to advise you, depending on the business decisions you want to make, your personal portfolios, things like that. We also provide access to investment opportunities, right? So you don't need to be 10 million, 5 million naira. You can start with what you have through one of our platforms called Splitter. We're also big on logistics. We do for women in such businesses. We can support you with your haulage, your air freight, your sea freight, and the like, and as well as asset protection services. One of our latest initiatives is a partnership that we have with Arcadia. We have Africa Day coming up sometime in May, and through this partnership, we've set up a fund, and our goal is to empower 5,000 women, right? 5,000 women-led businesses, And I'm sure as the day draws nearer, there'll be more information through our channels and socials as well. But we want to empower 5,000 women-led businesses, and this is in partnership with Arcadia. So I'm sure there will be a lot more on that as we draw closer to the day. Once again, thank you so much, and proud to be part of this event.
Wow, thank you so much,
Cheers.
Mr. Victor. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for sharing with us, some of the offerings of VFD. And of course, we're super happy to see so much inclusivity within the organizational structure at VFD. I'm sure that the admin is going to be able to put it in the chat room, some of the things which you've listed, so that people who are interested or interested participants can easily access these informations, and of course, reach out to the admin to be able to connect and see how they can leverage on some of the opportunities which you have highlighted just now. Once again, thank you. And of course, I would like to, as we draw towards the end of the meeting, I would like to say a big thank you once more to our partner VFD Group for their contributions towards this, and of course to the organizers 234Finance. A big thank you to you. I'm sure that a lot of women who have attended today have been so impacted, and of course are going to be leaving this place, this event, fully equipped and of course filled with all the resources, all the tools, all the knowledge they need to be able to attack their business and attack their work and whatever it is doing, whatever they're doing, to be able to achieve more results. Okay, thank you once again to our amazing speakers. We had beautiful, lovely women, really well-spoken women come here, and they really dished out. They left really nothing. They dished out all they had for us, and of course we're really appreciative of their time and their insights which they shared with us. Okay, ladies, we are about to round up the meeting right about now, but I would love to just quickly make a quick announcement. So 234Finance has a WhatsApp community. This community brings together strong, not just women this time, but strong individuals doing well in their business, doing well in their companies, in their various works and sphere of life. Amazing individuals, really, people who share the same mindset, who can learn from each other and who can collaborate with each other. So this WhatsApp community is open for every single person in attendance here today. I would just love for you to visit the chat room, and of course the admin has dropped details on how to access this WhatsApp community. All the conversations we've had here today, we've spoken about how important it is to have a community, have a group, have basically that covering of people around you that surround you, that can basically help you and hold your hand through your journey, your entrepreneurial journey, and of course whatever it is that you're into. So I do not want you to miss out on this opportunity. I want you to take this very seriously. Visit the chat room and of course be a part of this amazing community which 234Finance has given you the opportunity to become a part of. And of course, when I was reading the profile for 234Finance, you saw all the amazing works that they have been doing over the years. So they've been totally dedicated to ensuring that entrepreneurs in Africa grow exponentially. These are some of the things that they have been focusing a lot of work and attention on. And of course, we also spoke about mentorships, the power of mentorships and the power of having a good mentor. And of course, with the mentor matchup program, which they also have, it affords you an opportunity to also be able to access strong individuals who you can leverage on to be able to grow exponentially as well. So ladies, once more, it's been such an amazing time. It's been such a pleasure being your moderator. I've had such an amazing time and I've learned a lot. And of course, I'm looking forward to the next event to connect with all these bright and beautiful minds in this room today. Please, let's take the opportunity to network, connect in the chat room. Just drop your name, what you do, and of course, where you're joining in from. Let's connect. Let's make sure that we leave here with at least 1 or 2 friends. We don't just leave the meeting empty-handed. So ensure that you're able to connect with at least 1 person in the chat room. And of course, I look forward to seeing you at the next event. Thank you so much, 234Finance, and I wish you all a wonderful day ahead. Goodbye, everyone.